today, episode 2, what we're going to do with our special guest, some fun stuff, is we're going to do a blind soda taste testing. Let's go. Do you guys feel that you are confident?
No.
That you can distinguish between the sodas?
I am pretty confident,
okay.
to be honest.
I for certain can tell the difference between, say, like a diet soda and a regular soda.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
Kale
went to
does
Soda
not.
Waves.
Dude, it's legit.
And I
isn't
name
it?
dropped you. They didn't know you. But
They didn't know me.
I said, if you ever hear about a youth pastor from Tomoka, that's the guy. So
Yeah, I've been there 4 or 5 times now.
I can't get into it, man. When they started I can do cherry, like a cherry Pepsi, cherry Coke, whatever. Like I love myself some cherry Coke, right? But when it came to adding vanilla into things, and like I couldn't get behind it. I just couldn't do it. I'm
TJ
so
is
sorry.
shooketh to
I'm
the
so
core
sorry,
right now.
man. I know
vanilla Coke.
your thoughts of me have decreased, but I just can't do it. So, but anyway, we're gonna have our hand at this, and we'll see what we can come up with.
Blind taste test begins. This is a lot of soda, like, all right.
Everyone else left, so it's me and Randy now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Curious.
That's not good, whatever that is.
It's not good. Not looking forward to that.
Okay. I'm gonna go one more time.
I hear it bubbling. I don't know if that means anything.
Man, I don't know.
What's the difference between drinking a beverage?
Whatever, man.
Come back to one.
Dude, this is hard. I drink soda, but like really, I only drink Diet Coke. And okay, you know what?
Well, here, does that taste like that?
I think this is Coke. I'm gonna go with. Oh man, it's so hard. Okay, I'm gonna go with Coke on that.
One that belongs in the cola suite. I don't know yet. I don't know which one that it is.
That's why I've been using all that.
Swirl it around and like sniff it. Hold
for a
one
thumbnail.
ear. Literal like scientific.
Oh, that one's not
studies
good either.
done, where like they will
Bro,
write
those both gotta be
down.
diet.
Big root beer guy here, by the way.
Okay, I think I'm lost.
Okay.
Why?
I think I'm really lost.
You have to explain your
bro.
findings.
That's
By the way, those are
undeniable.
post-it notes.
Undeniable.
I didn't even know there's this many sodas.
I can't wait to find
That
out
were
that
brown.
Chris got them all wrong.
Oh gosh. Undeniable.
All right.
Okay. You know that podcast?
don't.
Sunday
What you got?
That's all right. That's
All right.
okay. Just means we're better.
I'm done.
Nice.
Okay. I think these are my final answers. Pretty sure.
We'll put on the screen how many you got right.
Yes.
Topher?
I think I got them all.
How many did I get right?
I just hijacked all of them.
I got them all right.
You need everybody's levels? Are we?
Yeah.
Chickadee check.
Kale, would you bring your mic close?
What are we talking about today, bro?
We are talking about. Let me get my doc real quick. We're going
Check
deep.
1, 2. Check.
Nice.
1, 2, 3.
Very good.
We're going deep today. Going deep.
How deep?
I'm going deep. Here I wanna be. I've forgotten all of the words.
I don't even know what song you're singing.
It's Stephen Curtis Chapman, right?
Yeah, it is.
So we're talking about you're grounded. You're grounded, TJ.
Oh,
man.
You're grounded. You're grounded. So how to have a solid foundation of faith in the culture that we live in.
Oh, because ground. I get it.
Yeah. Solid foundation, ground. You're
sees the
grounded.
vision.
I mean, you can come up with a creative title, whatever. I don't care. But that's kind of like that's the basics. So we want to take full advantage of the wisdom and knowledge that exudes from Kale, and so.
I can feel it over here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
The wisdom is
it just
migrating
overflows.
your direction.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't even in here yet. I remember I came in. I was like, "Do you smell that? Like, it smells like wisdom."
Smells
So,
like
yeah.
wisdom.
Dude.
Smells like wisdom.
That's
What is that?
That's the Christian version of smells like Teen Spirit.
Smells like wisdom.
What would wisdom actually smell like?
That's a good
I
question.
feel like
I think it would be like that really like mechanical smell. You know what I mean? Like the.
Oh, I was gonna definitely go in a completely different direction.
Well, no, like cause you know, like that the smell of like when like electronics are burning.
that's crazy.
Burning electronics.
I was definitely gonna say like myrrh.
myrrh.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
When
could
have you
say-
ever smelled myrrh?
I haven't, but I'm sure wisdom smells like it, bro. If they gave it to Jesus, it's gotta smell like wisdom.
Better question: who's myrrh?
Murder. No, Judas.
I feel like it would smell like a, like just an old library.
Old library.
That's a good one.
Like musty textbook.
Yeah.
Like you remember, like in school, you'd get like the textbooks that they would give you, and it would have this funky smell.
And the pages stick together.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And there's like 40 people's names on the front cover.
Right, right.
It's
Yep.
like teachers always like, don't write your name in it because the next class is gonna use it.
Yep.
And there's like 40 names in it.
Yep. Yeah, dude. I think that's good. Yeah, wisdom would smell like an old dirty book. I was gonna say more earthy. Like I feel like a wisdom smell would be a little more earthy, but what do I know? What do I know? Anywho, all right. So episode 2, season 2.
Let's go.
Journeyland Pod, kicking it off with none other than Pastor Kale Britton, right? Is that
Yes,
how you
sir.
say it?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
From Jesus Church. I just introduced you, so you don't have to. But Kale, tell us just a little bit about your story. Like, so what do you do? We know that you're pastor at Jesus Church, but kind of what does that look like for you? What's kind of your background, where you come from? Start with there.
Love it. It's an honor being with y'all. Some amazing people. I'm stoked to be on the podcast. And so my name's Kale. I am originally from Pennsylvania. My mom had me when she was really, really young. She was a teenager. And so life growing up was kind of interesting. And I have some parents who, they had faith. We didn't go to church. So I didn't go to church until I was 14. Like, the idea of church to me was just kind of like it was like a place that old people would go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how that felt growing up. And so started going to church. 16, gave my life to Jesus. It was kind of in that summer phase for me where I was like, man, my family gave their life to Jesus, my mom and my dad. I gave my life to Jesus. We all got baptized together, which is kind of cool,
That's dope.
I remember, I'll share this little story. I remember we did a beach baptism, which I think beach baptisms they always get a little interesting, And since we all got saved as a family, I have a little brother, but he was real young at the time. And, the pastor's like, we're going to baptize you all together. And so it's my dad, it's me, and it's my mom. And the thing about it is they only had one guy baptizing us.
Oh my.
So we're kind of like locked arms. And I remember we went down in this wave and we came back up. And it's this amazing experience. But what's crazy is like my wrist literally feel like they almost got snapped.
Oh.
Because they're coming up, they got somebody next to them. And I'm right in the middle. So I had no support coming up. And, and so it's cool to see the faithfulness of God. It's cool to see how his hand is very, the direction he has for your life, he sets it plainly for you, and we have the option to follow. And so I remember 17, I really met the Holy Spirit, and it opened this side where I realized God is somebody not just I can be friends with, somebody I can honor, but somebody I can actually be in community with. And that's really what changed my life. And during that time, I started to feel that call of ministry. Went to college at a college here in Daytona, and kind of during my senior phase was on staff at the church I'm at, and kind of started pastoring, started leading, and been doing that for about 5 years now.
Nice.
Nice. Now you went to Riddle, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Riddle. Shout out if anybody from Riddle's watching. There's a pretty strong Riddle presence here at
Yep.
Tomoka.
Let's go. That's awesome.
So, but that's cool, man. I remember meeting you. It was about 4 years ago, I feel like, as when I first met you, and that was at the time where we were still, Jesus Church was meeting at Port Orange Elementary.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So for you, like, what an amazing experience as far as like, how you came to know Jesus, and your family doing it all at the same time. Like, what was it for you? You said you felt like the call to ministry. What did that look like for you?
It looked like something I could not run away from. And no matter how hard I tried to do something else, I couldn't shake it. And I had people in my life who really, really loved me. And, ministry, I think when people like see a pastor, they don't know all that Pastor Randy does throughout his week. And I
What are you talking about? I don't work through the week. It's like Wednesdays, Sundays, bro.
Dude, the amount of times you'll talk to students and they're so confused that you work in an office the whole week. And I'm like, yeah, I have stuff to do. And they're like, what? I'm like, you just plan your message the whole time? I'm like, no, there's stuff that has to get planned. It's like, how do you think we're going to go to camp? How do you think we're going to have all these fun events to do? Like,
trips.
It's funny. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
You just tell them like, oh, dude, I've been praying for you the past 8 hours. And then they'll be like, oh, man, should never have asked that question. Like, I found some stuff out about you in prayer time.
Nice. Nice. I like that approach.
That's good.
But I think I felt that call of God. And it felt like literally just, that fire that's shut up in your bones, like something you just can't escape. And so anyways, I knew for my life, like I knew the call of God. And I knew I had to be obedient to it because I had tried to do other things. Like my education is in business marketing. And so for me, like that was kind of the world I was in. Of course, at Embry-Riddle, surrounded by people who are in aviation and they're pilots. And, nobody, as far as I know, in my family history has ever been in pastoral ministry. And I even remember going to my grandma's house one time, and I was like, Grandma, we got any old Bibles from family members? And she's like, oh, no, like, and I'm like thinking, at first I got sad because I'm like, man, I kind of wanted like that old, a Bible that kind of smells a little bit. It's got some leather on it.
Yeah. And
I had this expectation, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to have some Bibles, So down the road I can just... And I felt that call of God and just pursued it. Just looked like serving. It didn't look like trying to become somebody. It just looked like, God, would you use my faithfulness if I give it to you? Yeah.
Nice. Dude, come on, man. I feel like I need to get saved. Gosh.
Dude, this guy is like the definition of the chill guy meme. Like the dog, he's just a chill guy,
bro. What's funny about that is me and my little brother. He's 16. We were at a family Thanksgiving thing, and one of the family members, they brought like one of their friends, and he has a photo of it somewhere. But he took a photo of this guy. Bro looked exactly like that meme.
The dog?
I know he's not gonna watch this podcast, so I can say it. Bro, to a T, I leaned over to my brother, we're eating Thanksgiving dinner, and I said, bro, and when like you see something and you already pull it up on your phone, so you can just be like, hey bro, and then they look and then you just have the phone there. And so I set him up and he's like, bro, he looks exactly like him.
Wow.
Hands in the pocket, just kind of stand. He might have even had the same outfit on.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty unreal. I don't know if he was playing the part or not, but he looked it.
Was it a Halloween party by chance?
No. But it was a Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah.
A few weeks late.
I know this. I need to consult TJ for my Halloween endeavors, because now that I have known that your creativity in costumes.
Yeah. To explain, I usually try to do some sort of mashup of two concepts.
Okay.
So the one that he's impressed with is I had a bird mask and a race car jacket. I was Quail Earnhardt.
But did you come up with that on your own?
I did.
Wow.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, creativity over here, dude.
What was the other one? There was like a 3 one.
Well, yeah, if I had 4 friends that would do this with me, I would, 4 red-haired turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ginger Turtles.
Bro, you got 4 friends right here. Let's do it.
Yes.
We're the Ginger Turtles this Halloween, guys.
October 2025, bringing out the Ginger Turtles.
One year I was Trike Tyson.
Bro, do you have like what? Can you explain to me what
I
that
had
looked like?
like boxing shorts. I was here, so I had to wear a shirt. But I think no matter where I was probably wearing a shirt. Anyways, boxing gloves, and I was riding a tricycle. Yeah.
Trike Tyson. Love it, man.
Wow.
Love it.
It's impressive. I mean,
Thank you.
There's no shortage of creativity, whether it's writing songs or doing graphic design, coming up with Halloween costumes.
Well, I
TJ's
appreciate
your guy.
it. This year I wanted to do something, and I wasn't really able to. And it wasn't a mashup either. I wanted to be Doug Dimmadome,
Doug Dimmadome.
but he dresses like in like white and gold, which is really hard to find.
Isn't
first
he
of
also
all.
super short?
So am I.
You're not that short, TJ.
I'm pretty short.
Okay.
Have you seen me stand next to Randy?
I don't know.
We're the same height, so it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of an unfair comparison.
I'm like literally hanging out with you. I feel like I don't even know what I feel like.
I feel like I have an honest friend that could tell me if I had some bats in the caves. You know, that's what I feel.
Well, I appreciate it. But anyways, Doug Dimmadome has per the lore, has a hat that goes like off screen high, like no one really knows how tall the hat is. So I wanted to like get a cowboy hat, cut off the top, and then put either like an inflatable tube that just like goes like stupid high, or I had like this idea for like a telescopic hat that like actually tapers off at the end, so it looks like it goes higher. You know
Dude,
what I'm saying?
do you know how funny that would have been to see on the Halloween episode in here? And all you
Just
see
the whole
is, just,
podcast
is a hat that you can't even see the rest of.
I honestly should have just like hung it from the ceiling and then just
Oh, that would have been smart. After.
So this is the segment where Randy goes, "What are we talking about?"
Doug Dimmadome's a
Dimmadome.
character in Fairly Odd Parents, who is Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, which is like, you know, their sports arena.
Wow.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
But he's like this big rich guy with a mustache, and like he wears like cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, where the hat goes like super high.
Okay.
And then like never stops.
I know Fairly Odd Parents. It was beyond my years, so I didn't watch it. So, but yeah.
I missed that one too. Yeah, I don't think I got it. But you know, I was thinking, you know, you said short. You know, like I don't like to call myself short. You know, but I know I'm not tall. That's kind of where I live.
Yeah.
And I was preaching on Zacchaeus a few weeks back, and you know, sometimes you're preaching and like things just come out, and you're like, man, where did that even come from? And I say, man, we got any short kings here tonight? Dude, nobody raises their hand.
Oh,
You know,
man.
you're like, if you're not gonna identify yourself. You know,
Yeah.
like you're little broing yourself. If you're like, yeah,
They
I'm a
did. You
short
just couldn't
king.
see him.
They did.
They just haven't accepted it yet.
Bro, he's got wisdom.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
that's
Smell it.
why I know that electronic burning smell, because I think too hard and that's what I smell.
Oh man. So with the episode topic, we're talking about are you grounded or you're grounded, whatever. We'll call it whatever. But the idea behind it is in our culture today, for students, for young adults, what is it that we can do to stay grounded in our faith? Because there's a lot of political pressures. There's a lot of like wars, rumors of wars, all these different things that are happening in our culture, in our climate. So what is it that we can do practically to stay grounded in our faith? And so, Kale, since you're our guest, you had made mention that you're on staff, been there for 5 years at Jesus Church in Port Orange. What exactly do you do at Jesus Church, and what is one thing for you that you have found that has helped you stay grounded in your faith during this period in time?
Yeah. So I'll start with what I do is what you asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's simplest form. I help pastor people. And so I get to be a part of a team that just really helps love people where they're at. And so whether that looks like communication, whether that looks like meetings or designs or whatever it may be. And so I get to do that, and I love it. I think for me, the thing that helps me stay grounded is God's word. You know, and I know that's so like cliche. You know, it's like every youth pastor preaches a 3-point sermon that has like read God's word in it. You know,
Joshua 1:8, baby.
but it's like daily bread. You know, give us this day our daily bread. And I think for me, like I think of if I'm not in my word, it's possible that other people may not know, but I know. And I think maybe even that idea of like that daily bread, you know, it sounds old school, but maybe even to put it in somebody's world, like if you don't eat, you'll notice, you know what I mean? If you don't come to a dinner table, like you're going to be hungry, you know? And for me, there's seasons of my life, even pastoring, where I'm like, man, I need to be more disciplined. I don't know if y'all have ever felt that. Like I need to be more disciplined in this area, that area. And I know every time that I like kind of draw back from the word of God, and maybe it's like, I love it, but I'm not in it as much as I need to be. I might be in it for a sermon prep, might be in it for encouragement, but am I in it for communion with God? Am I sitting just kind of in that? And doesn't mean I got to read, you know, a lot of chapters. I just might need a little something, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that idea, like daily bread, if I am able to eat this consistently, I'm going to get stronger, I'm going to grow. And I even think of this idea in the natural, like in our bodies, the time when you get sick, one of the first things when we get sick, at least for me, is I kind of lose my appetite. You know, like if I'm not feeling good, I might eat some soup, might eat some toast, but I start losing my appetite. And I think I apply that same principle to my spiritual life. Like if I start losing my appetite a little bit, I'm like, maybe there's something I got to deal with in my life. You know, maybe there's something I need to walk through because I'm starting to be less hungry for God. And I think as leaders, right, like as students, like if God really has called us, I got to be sensitive to it, you know? I got to be aware. So to answer the question, I think that daily bread, like if I can just spend time with God daily, if it's just alone 15 minutes, if it's, you know, a 20-minute car ride, whatever it is, like I'm going to get it in before I'm actually pouring myself out. Because I've done it backwards. And, you know, sometimes the reason we feel anxious and depressed is because we're just running from this place of empty, you know?
Dude, that's good. It's good. Man, I smell that wisdom. Smell it. I think one of the things you said was really good was that you do it out of just a hunger, you know? And it's one of those things like a lot of times we feel like we have to check this box. Like we're Christians, so we have to read our Bible. But it's like, no, like I desire to just commune with God through reading his word. And I think there's so many times where I've been like, dude, like, you know, I've been in, you know, the book of James forever. You know, it's a short book. Right. Super practical, love the book of James. But it's one of those things like I feel like I'm not doing enough. But really being able to just pick those particular passages that speak to us and meditate on it. Like there's so much nourishment that can come from that. So I love it. That's good. That's good. So what about you guys? What is something you feel like, you know, that helps you stay grounded?
I think for me, kind of been talking about this with our students the last couple weeks. But like, I mean, obviously we base everything off of scripture. And one thing that I would say, like when I hear stay grounded, I think of like humility and staying humble.
Oh, that's good.
Great.
Just in the sense that like I've been telling our students this the last couple of weeks, like we have to recognize how big God is and how small we are, right? Like if we start to think that we're like a little bit bigger than ourselves and like we can have a little bit more of the power and we have our own strength, like we got it all backwards, right? Because I think it's so important to recognize that our weakness is made strong through Christ, and we're at our strongest when we're with Christ. So when I hear stay grounded, I'm like, all right, let me stay where I'm at and let God do what he's going to do.
Oh, that's good.
So,
that's
love
good.
it.
Yeah.
God opposes the proud.
Yep.
He gives grace to the humble.
Come on.
Right? So it's good. What about you, TJ?
Similar to what you said, like like when I'm like furthest off, and it's like I'm having those feelings of like am I wasting my time? Like the more not like, oh, I'm straying from God, more or less, is God real? Like when that question comes, like I start thinking about the smallness, you know? Like I am a speck of dust
Yep.
on a speck of dust.
Yep.
Like Horton Hears a Who.
I'm not
He's
familiar
like,
with his work.
What?
You're not familiar with Dr. Seuss?
Well, I know.
Okay, sorry.
I know that's Dr. Seuss, but I'm saying I don't understand the reference.
Dude, so Horton, the elephant,
Yes.
has the flower, but there's a speck on the flower that is like a whole city.
Except that to the factor of like a billion, right?
Yeah.
Like if the Earth is a flower, then how big is space?
Right.
Yeah.
Like the Louis Giglio did that. Like if the Earth were a golf ball, remember that?
Oh, I don't remember seeing this. Tell me about it.
That is classic.
It's probably good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But you know, if the Earth were a golf ball, here's how many golf balls would fit in the sun, type thing.
Dang.
Like, I mean, that's a whole thing. But like literally best place to do it's the beach. You know, like you're like we have the privilege of living at the edge of our continent, which is kind of cool if you think about that.
I like how you said that.
Yeah,
I like it.
Like what's over there? Well, Europe, you know, like
Right.
but like you know, you sit there and then like you look up and you can almost like see the Earth moving. Like when there's nothing in the sky, you can kind of you have to be like super still, which that helps too. But like looking at the sky and like realizing like, oh, those tiny little specks in the sky, oh, those are actually massive balls of fire.
Yeah.
That are so far away that they look tiny. Like even the moon is like stupid far, and you are little speck of something that happens to be alive on a bigger speck of dust, which is part of a solar system of 9 specks of dust. like it's like just it's insanely like humbling when you think about like. And then people will talk about like why has God let bad things happen? Well, remember, you are less than a pawn in this chess game. So when bad things happen to you,
Yeah.
I think of the smallness, like you said, like oh, I'm just happy to be along for the ride, and I also have like this thing of individuality where it's like I'm not just like an amoeba with no feelings. I control this body, and it's like what, like, you know, it's kind of cliche, but like what happens when we die? Like, do I see black forever, or is there an afterlife, or is there like, you know, these are the thoughts I have when I'm like struggling, and then it's like I refuse to believe that all of this stuff that I'm babbling about, like, is just by chance.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that it would be by chance, and I would get to control a body.
Yeah. Like definitely there was a designer. There was something behind it. Yeah, absolutely.
I like
But like
you, bro.
I have a spirit. Like that's the part. Is like I'm not just like there's 7 billion people on like more than 7 billion people. Like it's hard to explain, like, because my brain just like I said, I have the smart thoughts, but then I can't say it.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, like having conversations with you and Chris where I'm sitting over here going like, I have no idea what they're talking about. Like there's in-depth thought I realize for sure.
It's like we're not like a pack of people, like in the sense of like a pack of animals, where it's like okay, we eat grass, we try not to get killed, and we eat, you know, and then that's our life.
Right.
We have like a purpose and like
Come on.
like missions and things like we are. Like we have a sense of self. Like what's it called? Like
Self-awareness.
like a singularity.
Singularity.
I don't know what the word I'm thinking of is. Where it's like, I feel like I'm TJ and you're Chris, and then one day TJ and Chris are like we're gonna die,
Yeah.
and then like TJ and Chris have to find out where they're going for the afterlife. Like, I don't know. Like, that's
That
not
sounds-
something animals worry about.
Right. Well, it sounds like what you're saying is like it's cool to know that even though we are just so minimal in the grand scheme of things, that God still finds us a worthy vessel to partner with, to see purpose and plans be fulfilled here, and know that this is not the only thing, that there's something beyond this. It's kind of what you're.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, like, out of all the things he created, all the cool planets and stuff, like, he looked at us and said, like, oh, that's very good.
Yeah. No, that's real good. I love that part in Genesis where he says, like, after he created man and woman in his own image, it says, and he looked and it was very good.
Yep.
I think that for me is really cool and encouraging when I don't feel like I'm smart enough, good enough, whatever. You
It's like, me?
Stylish enough, like Kale.
Are you
Oh
sure?
man. But bro, I like you, man.
Do you?
I like you because I think most people don't really think those thoughts. You know, like I think most people don't think that deep about things, and even more so. I mean, I'm just thinking about the youth, the young adults watching this, and how intimidating is it to ask those questions or say things like that out loud?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like questions like, "Man, I've been going to youth for 2 years. I've sat in coffee shops with a leader or a pastor, but I'm in my room wondering if God is real. But I can't ask anybody because they're gonna think that my faith, which is here, now they're gonna see me here."
Yeah.
But the reality is, like, how long are we going to live that life questioning when we could just be honest, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's where real discipleship happens, is like when you can just have an honest conversation about what you feel. Because those questions aren't bad, those questions are honest, you know? I tend to find myself asking questions like that when I'm doing more for God than I am just spending time with him. Like I'll be, you know, you ever do that for, like, let's say a boss in your life? You do so much of your job for your boss rather than fulfilling what you do. You know, like maybe I worked at Chick-fil-A for 5 years. You know, shout out Chick-fil-A. And
Sponsorship, anybody? Come on. Anyway.
hey, look, we could DoorDash something real quick. That's,
Hey,
that's a
we've done it
sponsor.
We've done it before.
with McNuggets, man.
Oh, that's a crazy choice.
He wanted to show us all the different types of nuggets, and we did it in the middle of the episode.
Oh, this do we
Oh, the
cut off
shapes.
his wonderful monologue with?
We don't. Please move forward. But yes, we'll come back to that.
But I'm thinking, like, man, how many times do I do something for God? And then it's like, he's pleased with my obedience rather than my sacrifice. The Bible says your obedience is better than sacrifice. Not that sacrifice isn't bad.
Right.
I think as Christians, like, man, we got to lay some stuff down. But there's a point where it's like, maybe I don't have to lay as much down. I just get to be obedient.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, those questions, they're so important because I remember being in that spot as a teenager. I had these questions and, you know, perhaps I was scared my leaders wouldn't have the answer, so I didn't ask. I was scared how people would see me. And the reason I said I like you is because I can tell you think deeply about things. And
much
and I
so,
appreciate that. Yeah, because I feel that, you know. And it's okay to do that, you know,
Yeah.
because God designed our brain to have that ability.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think some deep things. And but anyways, back to grounded. When you sent me the topic, I was thinking about all the times in my life when I've been grounded. I've been grounded from hanging out with friends.
Dude, I
been
can't
grounded
even
from my
count.
phone.
Can't even count, man. I was terrible as a kid.
You know, it's funny. You know, I bring it up to my parents sometimes because my little brother, like, you know, we're different. He's the type of guy, he's gonna have fun wherever he goes. You know, I may be more chill, reserved, but he's, you know. Anyways, I'm like, dude, this kid, he don't get grounded. And I try to tell my parents, I'm like, y'all grounded me over everything, I feel like. And it's like, it's so funny because I'll bring it up and they're like, oh no, we never grounded
Oh
you.
no!
Like, man, are my parents gaslighting me?
Dang.
My girlfriend's family is the same way, where it's like, she and her sister, who are like close in age, they had it pretty rough. But now there's the two younger ones, like one's 17 and one's I want to say like 14. You know, the youngest one, Nathan, was playing VR, punched a TV and broke it,
Yeesh.
and then was so scared that he ran into his room and like started crying. But the dad was just like, "It's okay, you didn't mean it." And Nicole heard that story and went, "What?"
Did she punch another TV and break it?
she was like
smashing it.
like you would have murdered me.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like grounding, like in terms of like getting in trouble, is definitely not as present as it used to be. But
Did you experience that?
Because
Because you're the oldest, right? Oldest of three.
I am the oldest. Yeah, my sister was the one that got into trouble the most, honestly.
Really? Like
Yeah.
the youngest?
Yeah, my sister, the youngest.
That's
She
generally, I feel like what Kale was saying, like generally it seems like the younger one is the one that's like the baby.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I was a good kid, honestly. My sister was the one that like drew markers on our like really nice couches and like
Shout out Bella.
yeah, and
Hey.
she would like get like in her room and just get on her back and then just start stomping the door as much as she could. And my mom was like, oh, it drove her crazy. But yeah, I guess like grounding was like when I didn't get my homework done kind of, and I got my phone taken away. That was really it though. Like I was never in a situation where I was like, oh, I have to stay home, like can't go anywhere. Cause like one, maybe it was like I was too busy with baseball and stuff anyways. And they didn't want to like punish me with not being able to go to baseball. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't like, I don't hear our students talk about it a lot in terms of like being grounded. Maybe we just have good kids. I know we don't have good kids, some in the middle school, I'm gonna be honest, but
We're not naming any names.
I'm not
but you
naming
know who you
names,
are.
but you know who you are. But yeah, I don't think it's as prevalent as it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that. Like, honestly, I can see it with my daughter. Like, and so, like, she's a super sensitive person. So I do believe that, you know, as a parent, it's very important to identify, like, how your child receives correction. Although there still are some foundational things. I mean, hopefully I don't get canceled for this, but, like, the Bible does talk about sparing the rod and spoiling the child. So there has to be some form of discipline that needs to happen for our children to grow and understand right from wrong and honor and things like that, right? But some of them, the approach is different. Some of them, all they need is a stern look. My daughter is one of those. Like, when she was little, like, all we had to do is, like, raise our voice and look at her, and she would melt. Like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And so we really didn't have to, like, ground her. But as she's gotten older, there's definitely times where it's like, oh, well, because you did this, we're taking away this particular privilege.
Yeah.
Me, growing up, dude, there was literally 9 weeks of my life for probably a consistent 3 years where I was grounded to my room. Right? I could come out and eat. It's not like they were feeding me like a food tray under my door or anything, right? But, like, you know, because I wasn't doing my best in school, so I was getting bad grades. And so they were like, until you bring up your grades, you're not going out with your friends, you're not playing video games, you're not doing anything. You're sitting in your room and thinking about it and studying. And so when you started talking about that, like, you know, when you started thinking about that, you're thinking about grounding, like, I was going to answer one of the ways that I feel like it's very practical that we can stay grounded in the culture that we are is simply to be present with God.
That's great.
Sit quiet, turn off electronics, get somewhere, go to the beach, go somewhere quiet, and just be with God. Because one of the things that can be misleading as a Christian is that you have to perform for God to love you or be proud of you. But God, He already loves you, right? Because He sent His one and only Son.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't deserve it, He did it anyway. And so He loves us. And really all He wants is communion with Him, just to be with Him a lot of times. And in doing so, for me, those times where I've just sat And sometimes I've prayed. Sometimes I've literally just been quiet. Sometimes I'll pick up a guitar. I mean, you don't have to play an instrument to do it. But like, it's just like sometimes those quiet moments for me helped me stay grounded in a season where I was either dealing with an issue. Sometimes it would reveal to me like the posture of my heart.
Yeah.
So like I would be convicted. And so for me, like thinking back, being young and being grounded, although I hated it, I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a moment for me to separate myself from my usual and think about my actions. And so for me, like, I feel like for a student right now, like being able to just quiet yourself because, dude, the attention's of goldfish, right? Like the attention span of goldfish. It's like we live in this culture where like you barely can sit still for, 5 minutes. For us to be able to stop, shut our world down for a second, and just be with God, and just think on things like how big He is and how awesome it is that He chose to create us. That really, I feel for me, a lot of times will help me stay grounded in a practical way.
Yeah.
So
The line, "He was there before time," always
Dude.
like just, yeah,
like, dude.
Yeah.
like before time, like that.
In
that
the,
before implies time. Like,
Yeah, in the remix for Count 'Em with KB on it, he's like, have you ever spoke to nothing and had nothing obey? That's like one of the lyrics.
Oh boy!
And I was like, whoa, whoa, because like that's what God did.
Yeah.
But no, one of the questions, like, because as you were talking about like being in God's presence, one of the questions from last night was, where do you go or what do you do to listen and hear from God? And like a few of the first answers from the students were like, oh, church. And then like one of them said, yeah, right, exactly. And one of them said like read their Bible and pray. And like those are all, accurate answers, right? They're not wrong. Yeah. But then one of them said like in my room. I'm like, see, like, guys, we don't have to be in church and we don't have to, we love to be in our Bible and we love to pray. But like, man, for some people, that's just being out in nature and
That's
like
great.
witnessing like, man, God made all of this. And like, or maybe it is in your bedroom and it's just quiet and the stillness, being able to rest in His presence. So I think that is so important when we recognize being grounded, like, man, we're in His presence always.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think too, like in those times where you're wrestling, like when you're being in His presence, again, I referred back to like, when I was being grounded, I was thinking about what I did. And then like when you're sitting with God and you have that moment of conviction, I think, Kale, you were talking about it a little earlier, like a lot of times we're scared to ask those big questions because of fear of what people are going to look at us like, oh, I thought you were a Christian.
Right.
I thought you were, stronger than that in your faith.
Yeah.
And I think like that's just such a terrible thing for us to, project, because especially as people who work with students, to give them a safe space to ask those questions and to be vulnerable is so important for their development.
It's big.
As well as for us as adults.
Yeah.
Like if we don't have a safe space to ask those questions and be honest, like this happened in my life and because of this, man, I'm just really struggling to know if like, God, do you even hear me?
Right.
Do you hear my prayer?
Yeah.
Right? But we're all, a lot of times we're scared because like, oh, well, that's going to set us back. We're not as mature as we thought we were.
Yeah.
And so I just, don't be afraid. If I were to say anything, like, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Just understand who you can be vulnerable with.
It's great.
Because not everybody can deal with that vulnerability.
Yeah.
True. Yep.
And steward that well. But yeah. All right. So, we've talked a lot about deep stuff. So this is a little different from some of our other podcasts where we're just randomly talking about things.
Okay.
But again, we're trying our best to hear the voices of those who are a part of the Journeyland fam. And we want to bring you content that will actually help you grow in your faith as well as give you some entertainment. So
It is student ministry.
Yeah,
We're here
student
for
ministry.
We're here for the gags.
So
That's your mission statement right there. That's like
It is student ministry. or no, what he was saying.
it is student ministry. Yeah, that'll stir the hearts.
Yep. So, Kale, thanks so much for taking time to hang out with us and goof off and just share some of that wisdom that just oozes from your pores. I feel like comment, let us know what you do to ground yourself in your faith. And if you have more questions, put them in the comments so that we can begin to answer those questions for you. We want to make sure that it's very useful for you and not just a waste of your time. Cool?
Cool.
Love it.
Fellas, Kale, thank you so much.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are the best team. You really are.
Oh,
And
Kale.
I mean, I think everybody who's watching probably knows it, but I just got to say it, because I think teenagers have a weird way of showing love, Like them showing love is maybe liking your post on Instagram or something, but I think you guys are an awesome team.
Hey, man. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate you again taking your time, joining us, and so we look forward to we'd love to have you on again. Just a revolving door, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure as always.
Always.
Been a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Peace.
Deuces,
Thanks,
gooses.
guys.
Yo, cut.
That is another one that belongs in the cola suite. I don't know which one.
By definition, don't they all find themselves in the cola?
Well, no, because one of them, pretty sure one's root beer.
Well, wouldn't that still be considered a cola?
I don't think so. I think it's a root beer.
Isn't root beer cola?
I don't believe so.
I need to fact check that.
And it's this one.
No, root beer is not considered a cola. Well, I'll be doggone. That makes absolutely no sense. Not what you just said.
What?
But like they said, so I Googled, is root beer cola? And they say no, right?
Why is that shocking? It's a different soda.
Well, okay, hear me out. So then I said, what makes cola a cola, right? What is the differentiation? Cola is a carbonated soft drink that's made with a combination of flavoring, sweeteners, and carbonated water. What is root beer?
Well,
It's a cola.
then by your definition, Sprite is a cola.
Absolutely. It's a clear cola.
Bruh, you
Bruh.
cannot believe what you're saying. I know
sir.
you don't believe what you're saying.
Believe it. But listen, it says there are main ingredients that give cola its flavor, like cola nut, citrus oils, vanilla, and cinnamon.
Okay? Are any of those in Sprite?
Yes,
Wrong.
citrus. It's lemon lime.
Okay, what about the other 4 things you named? Randy.
What I'm saying is it doesn't necessarily say that it has to have all of those.
She just got the cold shoulder.
It just doesn't make sense.
You're such a passionate
This thing that has a different flavor and is made with different ingredients. Why is it called a different thing?
Oh man, that's good stuff.
Very aggressive.
I know, right?
Well,
You're so stupid, Randy. Would you
It's not
get
that- it's not that
an
you're
elementary
stupid.
education?
it's not that you're stupid. It's how wrong you're being. All right, these are my guesses.
So here's the question. I wonder, is there a difference between a soda and a cola?
Yes, because you can have soda water. That is literally just the water. Soda is a carbonated beverage. Soda is the umbrella that colas, Sprites, and all these other things, root beers.
Is soda different than cola?
A cola is a soda, and a soda is not necessarily a cola.
What a paradox.
It's not a paradox.
This is all of them together. And
That's pretty gross.
Probably tastes like sarsaparilla.
it doesn't taste gross, right?
Yeah. What would you call it?
And I would say the most dominant taste is either the root beer and the Dr. Pepper. Like everything else just kind of fades away. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.